My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Please go ahead and share my latest article in the Daily Caller, Free Julian Assange. I will also be starting a new YouTube channel devoted to my enjoyment responsibly of the Second Amendment, and it'll abide by YouTube policies completely. I just reached out to YouTube, and they emailed me back and basically said you can start an additional channel to your own. My main channel is H.A. Goodman, but and you'll love the name of this, the other channel I'm starting. But you can start a new channel devoted to your enjoyment and respect and love and appreciation for the Second Amendment, as long as you abide by the new YouTube policies, and I will. So that will be very soon. And I look forward to that, hopefully within a couple of weeks or sooner. Don't expect President Trump to speak with Mueller anytime soon, Giuliani says. He can't speak with Mueller. If he speaks with Mueller, it will be the biggest debacle, the biggest trap. If Hillary Clinton got an interview from Peter Strzok, then find an FBI agent who loves Trump and hates the Democratic Party and hates Clinton, and have that FBI agent interview Trump. If you don't have, if it's not 100% fair, why go ahead and do it? Why go ahead and engage in this farce of a political system where Hillary Clinton gets completely exonerated before her interview, is interviewed by Peter Strzok, who deleted references to gross negligence to ensure that she wouldn't be indicted under U.S. Code 793F, and allowed her to just lie throughout everything. Oh, I don't know what the C means. I didn't know the C means confidential. It's confidential, secret, and top secret, the three of the major classifications of classified intelligence. She didn't know what the C meant. And by the way, James Comey lied under oath and said that he didn't exonerate Clinton until after her interview, which was a lie. He lied under oath. He wrote the exoneration letter, and he was going to clear Clinton long before even, 16 witnesses, including Clinton, were interviewed. So Giuliani said Friday that if a subpoena were issued to get Trump to appear, the president's legal team would oppose it unless they could, quote, reach an agreement on the ground rules. He argued that Trump could invoke executive privilege, and the team would point to Justice Department's opinion in fighting a subpoena and quote, on both law and the facts, we would have the strongest case you could imagine. He noted the handover of 1.2 million documents as evidence of cooperation. So Giuliani is not playing. You wanna go ahead and you wanna subpoena Trump? Provide the 1.2 million million documents you've been sitting on in hiding. At the end of the day, you're going to have to prove that Trump colluded with Russia in terms of some evidence to even hope of meeting with Trump. You can't simply... Now we're getting into the area where Mueller has to prove what he has. What cards is he holding? He can't simply go ahead and intimidate judges the way he intimidates people swept up in this nonsense. A federal judge or Trump is not Sam Nunberg. It's not, these people, the Mueller probe thinks that they can just go ahead and, because they're a special counsel and because they have the media on their side, they can fabricate everything. The problem is the intelligence community is only moderate to highly confident. They are not certain. You need evidence. There's no predicate crime. So you need evidence, and there's also, the evidence points to an actual cover-up. The evidence of a cover-up is there. The evidence of an actual cover-up where, where President Trump, and now we found out in my last segment, there was very likely, actually, Glenn Simpson stated during his testimony regarding Fusion GPS, the FBI had a mole in Trump's campaign. Before it was, there was so much evidence that warranted a mole. Now it's, wait a second, there's no evidence, and they still put a mole in Trump's campaign? So now it's getting the situation is no longer in the Democratic Party's favor, no longer in Hillary Clinton's favor. We know she purchased the Steele dossier. We know the FISA judge did not know Hillary Clinton purchased the Steele dossier. Simply a rival political party or opposition research doesn't mean it was Hillary Clinton. That's a completely different ballgame, because you're running up against Trump. And if it's Clinton purchasing the dossier, she has a history of lying and deceitful behavior. Just ask David Plouffe, who, when Clinton's campaign spread a photo of Barack Obama in African attire to spread the birther myth, David Plouffe, this was in The Guardian, stated it was the most shameful, offensive fear-mongering of the election. Yet suddenly, Clinton isn't viewed as a white supremacist or a racist, but she engaged in racist activities. That's another example of hypocrisy on the left. The biggest racist of the election was not Trump at all. Trump isn't even racist. He made one comment. He made a couple comments that I disagree with regarding immigrants. I disagree with them. He wasn't referring to all immigrants, and he wasn't referring to all people in Mexico. He made a statement that was a statement I don't agree with. Most undocumented immigrants are absolutely wonderful, great people. I have friends who are dreamers. They're wonderful, amazing people. So I disagree with that statement. But at the same time, he's actually putting the dreamers on the table and saying, look, let's go ahead and negotiate. Nancy Pelosi says, no, we don't want to negotiate. And he's still going ahead and trying to fund his wall, even without Pelosi. I'm voting for Trump 2020, but I don't want a wall. But you know what? I want peace between North and South Korea. I want a foreign policy that leads to that. I want a less hawkish, militant foreign policy than Democrats. Trump gives me that. The economy is good. So you can't say this is all Obama's doing. And I want corrupt FBI and CIA and NSA and just corrupt intelligence officials exposed. So when people say, how could you go from Bernie to Trump? Well, it's not like, what do Democrats want to ban fracking? Do they want to reinstate Glass-Steagall? Do they want to break up banks? Do they want to do any of that stuff? Democrats voted to deregulate banks. Well, they're a little marginally better on certain things than Trump, yeah, but they're not going to expose James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. We wouldn't know without President Trump. We wouldn't know. And if Bernie was president, we wouldn't have known about James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Bruce Orr, Nellie Orr, Glenn Simpson. We wouldn't have known about all of these things. Natalia Veselnskaya, who met with Glenn Simpson before and after the Trump Jr. meeting. The whole thing was a setup. So getting back to why Trump should never speak with Mueller, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that he should speak with Mueller? There's no evidence. There's no evidence at all. You can't go ahead and say that Trump should speak with Mueller without providing some kind of evidence showing that Trump committed some kind of treasonous behavior or illegal activity. There's not even a statute regarding collusion. There is a statute regarding the Espionage Act violations, numerous ones that Clinton broke. So Giuliani actually makes reference to the 1.2 million documents, and he knows exactly what he's doing, because it's kind of like now the big guns, now the attack dogs, now Trump is fighting back. He doesn't have these DC establishment lawyers telling him, just be calm, just be patient, there's really nothing you can do at this moment. Because that's what his lawyers were telling him for the past, year? In the beginning, they're like, well, this is Washington, D.C. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to fire Mueller. But now we're finding out that Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and Andrew McCabe lied under oath, and James Comey lied under oath. We're finding out all of this. Now, his lawyers could have been telling him, look, just wait. Just wait. You can just go ahead and wait, and eventually you will be able to fire Mueller, because there'll be so much evidence of a fabricated plot to get you, which is exactly what it was. President Obama had no business spying on Trump. and his FBI and DOJ had no business using a Steele dossier. The Steele dossier is so riddled with gossip and hearsay. It's such a ridiculous document. It's so ridiculous that BuzzFeed is suing the DNC. There are a lot of themes that I repeat almost every YouTube segment. It is a fact that BuzzFeed is suing the DNC. It is a fact that BuzzFeed did a big favor to the Democratic Party. Their reward was the Democratic Party saying, no, we're not going to help you. We're not even going to give you any information about the Russians hacking the DNC. All of this is about Russia hacking the DNC to expose how corrupt Hillary Clinton was. That somehow they get away with that by saying, well, embarrassing emails. It's more than just embarrassing emails. You're talking about exposing massive corruption. So, BuzzFeed's suing the DNC because the Steele dossier has no evidence to back it up. They published something, and they said it was unverified, and they said it contained errors, and then they're wondering why they're being sued for libel. How can you go ahead and publish something that implicates people, that accuses people of being in locations they were never at, and accuses people of doing, then you just, what, then one person, they're like, oh, well, we apologize to this person. No, he's still suing you. If you're part of the Steele dossier, very likely, almost certainly, I have high to moderate confidence that you will somehow, this will negatively affect you in terms of your future financial goals or whatever. It's going to negatively affect you. Very likely. So that's what happens with libel. You prove that, oh, this publication, so 3 Russian bankers, a Russian entrepreneur, Michael Cohen was, but now Mueller is after him for no reason. Well, whatever. Again, if he engaged in activity that was illegal, then fine. But the reason they're after him is because of Trump. So it's not like he was this, it's not like he was Al Capone and then, suddenly just getting away from the law and being able to circumvent the law. They're after him because of Trump. He lived his life in a way that he was a lawyer, nobody went after him. Suddenly these payments to him, so him going to a company and saying, oh yeah, by the way, I know Trump, I'm one of his lawyers, you can meet him. That is the equivalent. Now, if that is an example of Trump getting money, the guy's a billionaire, and he derives his political power from his name, his brand, not from a foundation. So it's apples and oranges. But if somebody on Twitter today said, well, what about, what if it's the same thing as the weapons deals? Well, if it's the same thing, then that's wrong. Then impeach Trump based on that evidence. But you then have to go ahead and indict Clinton. And number one, Clinton is the one who did engage in weapons deals. Trump didn't. So again, they're just muddying the waters. But this is interesting too. Somebody wrote this to me. I have no idea why. This is a comment. I have the best comment section on YouTube. I really do. I have the best, and I can't wait for my comment section for my new channel devoted to enjoying and appreciating the Second Amendment. But somebody wrote, if you support Trump, that also means you support mandatory saluting of the flag. There's no law that says you have to salute the flag or stand up even. Colin Kaepernick, I don't see Nancy Pelosi or President Obama or any Democrats going on one knee. And by the way, I wrote an article right when it happened supporting Colin Kaepernick's decision to just go ahead and, that's a First Amendment right. He has a First Amendment right to do what he wants to do, and I supported that decision. But I don't see Democrats using this as a political tool, actually going on one knee. Are you kidding? These are the same people who are like, the intelligence community, oh my God, we have to engage in regime change. So that's not true. If you support Trump, that also means you support mandatory saluting of the flag. No, I don't support mandatory saluting of the flag. I stand up and I show respect, but that's because I choose to do so. If Colin Kaepernick does not choose to do so, that is his journey in life. That is what he. But interestingly enough, it's not Nancy Pelosi's journey. I don't see Nancy Pelosi getting on one knee. Increased military spending. And Clinton would not increase military spending. She would absolutely increase military spending, not just building up a military. The spending would increase because she would send more soldiers to Syria, more soldiers throughout every war zone on the planet that we're involved in. Exponential deregulation of environmental protections. Okay, maybe that's okay. So that is true, but I don't want that. But then again, I don't see Democrats. If your argument as a Democrat is, well, we won't deregulate and Trump will, that doesn't save us from climate change catastrophe. So that's, you had a fracking boom under President Obama. This is the Democratic Party we're talking about. We're not talking about the Green Party. If this is an argument for the Green Party versus Trump, yeah, the Green Party has a far better, infinitely better environmental policy platform than Democrats or Trump. The Green Party has a green economy circled in the future. Green economy. An indiscriminate bombing of Afghanistan and Syria. So you're down with all of that, HA? No. I don't want an indiscriminate bombing. I want us to get out of all of these places. I want us to get out. But I was told that there was a choice between lesser evils. The lesser evil in terms of military policy is obviously Trump, is it not? Of course it is. If your goal is a less hawkish militant foreign policy, then I think peace between North and South Korea. With all due respect to the YouTube channels who are Democratic-leaning or liberal YouTube channels, how can you not appreciate peace between North and South Korea? It's a landmark moment in global history, in world history. And it had directly to do with Trump's foreign policy. Directly to do with Trump. I know it hurts people and angers people who don't think that's the case, but it directly involved Trump's foreign policy. It's not even a debate. You want to know why it's not a debate? Because President Moon of South Korea stated, yes, Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. I think he knows he's the one who deserves the Nobel Peace Prize more than anyone. President Moon of South Korea. And he's saying that Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. So, anyway, Trump cannot go ahead. He can't go ahead. He can't meet up. He can't speak with Mueller. Why? Because the probe shouldn't even be in existence. There shouldn't be a Mueller probe. There's no reason for a Mueller probe. Comey illegally leaked the memos, and when you talk about illegal leaking of something, he's not a whistleblower. He shouldn't be protected under whistleblowing laws. The Democratic Party and liberals have been traumatized by WikiLeaks. Absolutely traumatized. WikiLeaks published pristine documents that literally just they were like a mirror, shed a light on the corruption. Democrats had to look themselves in the mirror through the WikiLeaks pedestrian DNC emails, and they didn't like what they saw at all. So they fabricated a Trump-Russia myth, and they said, okay, you're going to actually engage in what journalism is and publish pristine documents? Okay, we can play that game. We'll fabricate a Trump-Russia myth. We'll go ahead and work with the intelligence community to build enough smoke and media hype to where people confuse suspicion with evidence. We'll lie. We'll engage in every form of behavior that we accuse Trump of engaging in, and that'll be the equivalent of WikiLeaks emails. We'll use the Steele dossier, which is the antithesis of a WikiLeaks email. We'll use a Steele dossier that's full of gossip and nonsense, where prostitutes are peeing on a bed. Things that can't be verified and things that never happened. And we'll say, well, WikiLeaks did the same thing, except they were honest and those emails were pristine, and those emails were actually written by people who were corrupt and engaged in criminal activity. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. This is where we're at right now in the United States of America. The Democratic Party, and this is when I say like Trump, like when I say like Sessions can just, this is all about Clinton and her, like she will get indicted in the future, but this is all about Hillary Clinton circumventing indictments. That's it. That's it. She's trying to buy time, enough time, to where she can still run after getting indicted. Clinton will get indicted. That does not mean that she's not going to run for president. Okay? So she very likely could run because the media is just a bunch of sycophants and brainwashed fools. Mark my words, when she gets indicted, there is a likelihood that she will run. And Democrats will vote for her. They'll say that Trump was a tyrant, and the best way to show that, he shouldn't be a tyrant is to vote for a criminal. And when you say indicted, like there are people indicted, like she would be indicted with evidence showing she committed the crimes. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Subscribe right now, right this second. Tell your friends. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening.